And so, we come to it. New Buffy Watcher. The first episode that I cannot, in good conscience, suggest that you watch. Xander has a fantasy about saving Buffy from a vampire and then rocking out.
Xander, you've got a little...
Buffy's science teacher then pulls her aside after class and gives her the first confidence boost from an adult she's received in the series run, which should be a sign as to what happens next. Angel drops in for a bit of dire news dropping and the further inflating of the sexual tension balloon. That gives us a chance to see Xander's jealousy in full bloom, an important aspect of his personality. The new science substitute Miss French comes to town and all the boys are instantly smitten, despite her emphatic and weird love of bugs.
Over 1,800 species worldwide, and in nearly all of them, the female is larger and more aggressive than the male.
I wonder if she had anything to do with it. Well, that answers that question. Miss French invites Xander to her place for some after-school work. Everyone tries to tell Xander she's evil, but he can't hear them over the sound of his throbbing erection. Or maybe it's some kind of smelly bug mind control voodoo? I don't know. They're not really clear on that. Xander goes to her home. She slips him a Mickey. He wakes up on a straw floor in a cell as giant bug Miss French looms in the darkness. Buffy comes in and saves the day via sock puppet theater, and the episode ends with more Buffy and Angel smoldering.
Oh boy.
Is there anything to enjoy about the episode? Well, of course. There isn't a single episode of the show that doesn't have something to enjoy. A funny gag, a good line, a moving bit of dialogue. If you've been enjoying yourself so far, by all means dive in, but if you're still trying to get hooked, this episode is probably a hazard rather than a help. Nicholas Brendon does a great job as the insecure outsider to Buffy's love life. He has some decent lines and does what he can with a giant rubber mantis suit in his face. But the two most interesting scenes in the whole episode are the first scene with Buffy and Angel and the last scene with Buffy and Angel. Yes, it does begin to build some aspect of Xander's sub-story that threads through the series, but arguably there are episodes coming that do it better and with much less silliness. Other than, I think, a single bug reference in the later episode, you're not going to miss anything. Just empirically, it's one of the lowest rated episodes of the 7 seasons. The show is mostly serialized, and the episodes are usually at their best when they're furthering the development of the season arc. One of the main problems with Season 1 is there are too many one-offs. This is the second week in a row with the Monster of the Week episode. Where the hell is the Master? Just hanging out in his cave? But whereas Witch had content that is dramatically important in later seasons, Teacher's Pet does not. There's no misread of the whodunit. Miss French's hot bug speech makes sure of that. Every scene is just more or less building to the inevitable fight between Buffy and the she-bug. And when it does happen, it's ridiculously awkward and takes place in almost complete darkness. Probably because they didn't have the budget to finish the rest of the bug suit. But it isn't just that. The bug itself sort of breaks the rules of the show's own universe. A giant praying mantis. They never fight a giant squirrel or a giant Persian cat. What's the explanation for this? I don't need much. Another dimension, mythological. Give me something, Giles.
If I recall correctly, poor old Carlisle, just before he went mad, claimed there was some beast.
Buffy 911.
Forget it! You think I'm grossly nitpicking. This isn't nitpicking. Here's a nitpick. Why does Miss French turn into a bug first before she, to the Virgin Boys? It seems like they'd be more willing volunteers if she kept her woman-shaped form for the egg fertilizing, and then turned into a bug and bit their heads off. That's a gross nitpick.